beautifuls, this is Aromie here, and welcome back to Seduce Me 2. I went to my fan and turned it down a power notch. It was at power 2, and I hope my throat won't be completely dry because of it. I'm just slurping all this power right down. Anyway, holy crap, that kind of scared me. As I stood, lost in the dark, I felt a heavy weight upon my back, forcing me down. It was as if a large boulder was pressing down on me, wanting to crush me beneath its weight. I fought against it, gritting my teeth as I struggled. A large grunt echoed over me, forcing me to look up and see Diana pushing at the boulder to get it off of me. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Why would Diana ever help me? Quickly, we both forced it off my body, and soon I found myself looking into the great hall of the Incubi's old castle in the abyssal plains. The interior was as regal as I remembered. Behind me was a broken down entrance where I assumed the boulder had originated from. However, Diana and I were not alone.
Is she alright?
I wouldn't worry about her, you mistake.
I stared as the Demon Lord and Damien stood squared off with each other. In the Demon Lord's hand was a large chain covered with dry blood, and my stomach churned at the sight.
She will never leave this world alive as long as I live.
I looked at Damien, then back at the Demon Lord. What was going on? Why was Diana here? Why was I here? As the Demon Lord whipped his chain at Damien, Diana shot out a blast of purple energy, forcing it to ricochet away. Diana stepped in front of me and Damien, glaring hard at the Demon Lord, and preparing another spell in her hands.
Go with her. I'll deal with this once and for all.
If I'm going to fall here, all of you will fall with me!
The Demon Lord with a crazed grin, pointed his hand towards the ceiling and allowed an angry howl, causing tremors and quakes to run through the room. Diana shot her hands upward and formed a purple barrier around our bodies, but she winced with each stone that fell and slammed into the barrier, and this is awfully loud. Okay, I had to lower the volume a bit.
I can't hold it.
But now I can't hear her. There you go.
This castle will be your grave!
Here. No, wait. Is it this? Background music is fine. It's just like the after stuff. There we go. My instinct was to reach out and hold on to Damien, but before I could move, he grabbed my face and kissed me roughly. I stared at him, wondering what he was doing, but I kissed him back and dug my fingers into his shoulder. Was this dream going to end with us dying? As Damien pulled away, I saw tears begin to form in his eyes. I stared as he gently pulled away from me and ran outside of Diana's bear at the Demon Lord, picking up a fallen sword from the ground. With a courageous shout, Damien slashed at the Demon Lord, forcing him to quickly jump backwards towards the throne.
Keep her safe.
What? Are you insane? You're powerless against him!
What's going on?
You're faster than me as a demon. I won't be able to get out of here fast enough for us both to survive.
Damien? I wasn't sure what was happening, but I didn't like what I was seeing. Why was Damien telling Diana to keep me safe? I watched as Damien looked at Diana with an affirmative glare and nod. Before I could question it, Diana ducked down and threw me over her shoulder. How she managed to be strong enough to perform such a feat was beyond me, but I was too thrown off to care.
You will not be forgotten.
Just go.
I reached out to Damien, losing track of what was happening as Diana began to run away from him and the Demon Lord faster than a speeding car. I'm not gonna scream because I don't want to kill my voice, but insert scream here of me saying Damien.
I love you.
I watched the tears run down Damien's cheeks as he reached back for me, but he remained where he stood. As Diana ran with me over his shoulder, the ceiling began to crumble within the hall, stone and glass falling all around the Demon Lord and Damien. The world around me began to go into slow motion as I kept reaching out to Damien, struggling in Diana's arms as she ran. Why was this happening? I could only watch as the Demon Lord approached Damien and quickly wrapped the chain around his neck, pulling him into the air and hanging him with it like an executor's noose. Damien tried to place his feet on the Demon Lord while his fingers clawed at the chains, trying to find some purchase. As he managed to get his feet around the Demon Lord's neck, a large avalanche of stone and glass fell over their bodies, hiding them from sight. I couldn't be sure, but it looked as if they had been crushed. That is very sad. The world around me broke apart as I began to scream in agony at what I was forced to witness. It couldn't have been real. I didn't want it to be real. I let out the darkness of my dreams envelop me as I mentally repeated over and over that this was not real. Once again, I was floating in darkness, curled into myself in an overwhelming sadness. Why was this happening? Why was I being forced to see nightmare after nightmare? I dug my nails into my arms, wanting to wake up already. Please let me wake up, please. As I felt my body begin to fall, I let go of my arms and tried to reach for something to stop my rapid descent. Faster and faster, I felt my body tremble and fall through the dark into an unknown oblivion. I tried to grasp at anything to catch me, to stop me. I eventually woke up holding on to Damien, and as I refocused my vision, I was back in my room. I had landed and awoken before I felt the impact, or perhaps the impact woke me up. My grip on his shirt woke Damien from his sleep, gasping and looking to me.
What happened? What's wrong?
Damien! Damien's probably like, what is going on? Why is she waking me up? I'm trying to sleep here. I'm just trying to take care of my voice. I instinctively wrapped my arms around him, needing to feel him physically. It wasn't enough to see or hear him, but the feeling of his body being in my arms reassured my mind that he was okay and that he was here with me, alive. Damien looked at me and wrapped his arms around me, letting out a small sigh and nuzzling me softly.
Another nightmare?
Yep. I could only nod against his shoulder. I was quivering in his arms, but I was thankful that everything was okay. My dream was just that, a dream. I sighed and kissed his cheek softly, silently apologizing. Damien held me close for such a long time, understanding my needs to simply feel him. He didn't pull away, nor did he speak. He simply held me and gently nuzzled me to help me fully calm down from my fear. I felt his hand gently pet my hair, aiding my shift from sadness to relaxing calm. Everything was fine. Everything was okay. I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep getting nightmares.
You can't control your dreams.
My memories flashed back to the first time he said that to me. It was the day right after we met. He had saved me from my nightmare of Malik's. I let a smile across my cheeks as I looked up at Damien. You told me that when we first met. Damien gently pulled away and smiled at me, kissing my cheek.
I did, didn't I? You remember that?
I nodded. I never wanted to forget how we had met. He and his brothers came to the human world and arrived at my house, where I got to be with them and learn about them. At the same time, I was able to become close to Damien and fall in love with him. Yet there were some bumps along the way, but we were able to get through them. We even were able to give Damien something he desperately wanted, to be human. Damien gently caressed my cheek, inviting me to nuzzle into his palm, and he smiled down at me as he laid his forehead against mine.
No matter what comes our way, I promise to protect you and love you for the rest of my life.
You'll never leave me? Damien shook his head and I believed him. His simple smile was enough for me to understand that he was telling the absolute truth. He wouldn't leave me and I would never leave him. I nuzzled my nose to his, looking up into his beautiful eyes. You don't regret not being a demon anymore. He shook his head again. I knew he was beyond happy to be human, but the nightmares made me worry over and over without relenting. I knew I was worrying over worrying over nothing, but more than anything, I wanted Damien to be happy. I couldn't help but worry. I slowly tilted my head up and captured his lip with mine, kissing him ever so softly. He returned my kiss, his arms tightening around my body. My worries slowly began to melt and drift away as he held me. I could feel my body slowly draw closer to Damien's, craving more of his touch. My fingers gently traveled up his shoulder, and I ran through his hair, brushing through the strands lovingly. He shivered at my touch, making me tremble in response. The thing was, I had just woken up from a nightmare. Was it right to really feel like this right now? My mind questioned my body's intentions, and my body ignored every logical reason my mind had to put a stop the situation. I had to listen to one or the other. Listen to your mind or your body. You should always listen to your mind. But since this girl's really in bad nightmares, listen to your body. Something in my body was calling for Damien, and I didn't care what I had just witnessed. I was attracted to him and needed more of him. It was crazy, but I didn't care. I was in love and also deep in lust. 18 plus up. I slowly dragged my hands down and began to undo his shirt. This is going to be awfully awkward for me, needing to feel his bare chest with my fingers. In response, Damien dipped his hand under my shirt and up and back, and I shivered in delight as he reached my spine. I couldn't help but moan against his lips at his touch, loving how his fingers teasingly and lovingly ran down my back, as his chest was bare to me. I ran my fingertips over his toned skin as I arched my back towards him. Damien smirked slightly against my lips as he reached farther under my shirt, discovering that I wasn't wearing a bra and feeling my bare skin where the clasp would be. I opened my eyes, watching him stare down at me with a loving yet lust-filled gaze. Not guys. Just his stare made me feel weak in his arms and made me moan once again against his lips and swoon into his arms. Damien moved his hands away so that he could fully remove his shirt from his body before helping me out of mine, pulling away from the kiss to do so. I whimpered at the loss, but I knew it had to be done. As Damien gathered me back into his arms, I wrapped my arms around his neck, needing to be close to him. It became much more daring whenever we were about to make love. It was almost like a complete character change whenever passion took over. He knew what he was doing and he knew exactly where to hold me to make me melt against his. Well, I mean, he was an incubi, right? Yeah, I think so. Damien slowly ran his hands down my back and slipped them under the hem of my pants and panties. Why are you wearing pants to sleep? Unless it's like those lounging pants. But, yeah, maybe. I'm thinking of jeans. Such an idiot. Gripping to my bare rear and massaging each cheek oh so lovingly. I pulled away from his kiss and moaned out into the air between us, gripping his shoulder at the feeling. It wasn't helping that the heat and need in my core were flaring to have him take me, as he gripped my butt and made my nerves jump and shake in desire. I looked at Damien with half-lidded eyes, feeling my desire increase with each press of his finger and palms. He had a small smirk on his lips, and I licked my own at the sight. Damien gently leaned in and nipped at my mouth, biting my lower lip and sending pleasurable waves down my body and into my already tightening core. As he released it, he leaned his forehead against mine, staring deeply into my eyes.
Are you sure you want to do this? I don't think I'll be able to stop myself if we continue.
I didn't want to hear it. I grabbed his head and pulled him back into a passionate kiss, needing to stop him from suggesting that we stop. I didn't want to stop. I wanted him. Damien took the hint and kissed me back with just as deeply. He dug his fingers into my skin, making me arch my back further and grind against him and me. I was drowning in desire and I needed him immediately. Not fast enough. He had removed the remainder of our clothes from our bodies, and we were making sweet and passionate love, our breaths and moans echoing through the room shamelessly and relentlessly. Each word we let out became a declaration of love, of pleasure, of eternal bliss between us as we rocked on the mattress passionately. My fingers danced and dragged themselves along his skin, leaving lovely red marks in their wake. We didn't need a demon enthrallment to feel immense pleasure between us. We made each other feel perfect as humans, and that was all that mattered when we held each other. Soon our moans became harder and louder, driving alongside our pleasure and ecstasy. My fingernails began to dig into his skin and onto the bed sheets as I began to affix and rush over my highest point. I'm guessing that's how you say it? As I finally passed through the peak of my pleasure, so did he, and we were both blissful and warm. We slowly melted into the afterglow of our sex and cuddled with each other, not wanting to lose the warmth between our bodies. Our sex was part of how we expressed our love to each other, and we didn't want to lose any bit of it. Damien cradled me in his arms and kissed my forehead before kissing me on the lips gently.
I am yours. Forever.
And I am yours. It wasn't long before I closed my eyes and fell into sleep again. This time I was able to float in a blissful darkness and uninterrupted. Soon days went by, passing forward in almost hyperdrive until a couple of days before the wedding. Damien and I worked hard after our rest day to make everything perfect, and we were positive that nothing could go wrong. The boys picked him up, leaving me alone to get into my wedding dress and wait for my limo to drive me to the wedding hall. I was nervous that I needed to prep everything on my own without interruption. Where's your friends? I got into my dress, finished getting ready, and wound up staring at myself in the mirror in awe. I was in my dream wedding gown, looking as I had always imagined I'd look like getting married. The one thing that made it special was that I was marrying. I stopped myself. Damien wasn't a demon, he was a human.
Aren't you so proud of yourself?
Hello, Diana. Huh? I looked around, suddenly hearing Diana's voice in the air. Just hearing her ask that one question filled the air with dark and menacing tension. However, it was impossible. How was she here? Diana, well, where are you?
You didn't answer my question.
Why should I? Show yourself. As I looked at the mirror, I gasped. Instead of my reflection, I saw a dark shadow with gold eyes staring at me. I would know those cruel eyes anywhere. Diana.
How does it feel to be inches away from marrying the man of your dreams?
Pretty good. Why should I tell you anything? Why are you here?
A frisky bridezilla, aren't you?
No. Answer me.
Tell me first, how do you feel now that Damien's no longer who he was?
Who he what?
Remember, he was born a demon, and you took that away from him. Well, I did anyway. At your request, of course.
He wanted to be human. This was insane. Why was I arguing with her? When she was just a shadow in the mirror, Diana let out a dark laugh.
You don't even know who you're marrying, do you? Damien, the human who is a demon. What's next? Will he demand to be a woman instead? He could easily be one. Oh, wait. He can't because he no longer has the ability to do so himself.
Okay. Why do you care? He can do what he wants.
But do you even know what he wants? I want to go to the human world. I want to be human. Tell me, can you give him everything he wants? I want my mother back. I want to forget that I was ever a demon. I want to forget I was even born.
I don't think Damien will go that far. Stop it! Because I don't think he's going to go that far. I couldn't take it any longer. I grabbed the lamp on my nightstand and lifted it, ready to smash the mirror to pieces. However, as I looked back at the mirror, it only showed my reflection. Diana was gone.
I knew it. I knew it. That girl has demon magic.
But
Then quit talking and let's take her.
I remember this part.
The Lord will be so pleased.
Who? Before I could turn to search for voices, I felt hands grab my hold of my feet, and I looked down and lifted my dress. Two pairs of evil-looking hands had taken a hold of my ankles, reaching through a dark red and purple pentagram. I shrieked, trying to pull my legs away, but couldn't stop them as they swiftly pulled me into the ground. I was pulled deeper into the darkness. I was no longer in my room. I was being dragged through a dark void, one that I couldn't escape. I reached out and clawed at the dark, trying to find something to grab onto. I tried to pull my legs away from the hands that were holding them, but couldn't pull free. What was going on? Why was this happening? Someone help me! As if someone had heard my screams, I suddenly felt the hands let go and disappear, leaving me to float in the darkness they left me in. I shut my eyes. Please let this be a dream. Please. Because this would be a horrible reality. I finally felt a surface under my feet and I collapsed onto it, my body curling in on itself for the experience I had. I didn't dare tear my eyes away from my lap, not ready to get up just yet. The voice I had heard, however, made my heart stop.
You, what are you doing here?
I looked up and finally having the courage to take in my surroundings. My heart stopped beating for a moment, seizing in my chest. I looked up to see 5 figures, strangers, monsters, beings that I didn't recognize. They all looked down at me in surprise, as if I had dropped in at a very bad time. One man looks like an orc from a fantasy game without the tusk. He had broken horns and a very frightening aura around him as he stared at me. The other male was lanky in comparison, more human-like, but I could almost feel power emanating from him regardless. One of the women who was staring at me had rabbit ears. Rabbit ears? I twitched on top of her head as she looked at me and gripped her staff. She seemed harmless, yet she had animal ears. What's wrong with animal ears? The one creature that I couldn't discern the sex of seemed more excited to see me than surprised. What freaked me out about them was that they had wings sticking out from their back and they were floating. The last woman, however, set off alarm bells in my head as I looked at her surprised face. Her hair, her eyes. Diana. As she stared, the woman turned her body towards me in recognition to the name I called her. It was her.
What are you doing here?
Diana walked towards me and stared down at me. It was odd. She didn't look like a human, yet I was afraid of her demon form as it towered over me. I was more in shock as to what was going on. And this is where we are going to stop. We're slowly getting to the part where I don't know anything yet. I mean, I'm slowly remembering everything now, because I started remembering once we got to the wedding day and we were changing by ourselves. Because I don't know why. We obviously don't want our friends to help us. Naomi and, I forgot the other girl's name. I forgot the other girl's name. But that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you guys are enjoying so far. Thank you for, stay beautiful. And thank you for watching. And I already said that, but you know, let's keep it rolling. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.